AI to place loads of jobs. Will our role turn to helping people use AI in life instead of work? We don't know if it's going to displace jobs. It is starting to, we think, with entry-level jobs. Nobody really knows what's coming. We can make educated guesses, but this is unprecedented. It's a technology that we haven't really seen the likes of before. The internet's probably the closest, but this goes beyond that. So we don't know what it's going to do to jobs. We know there's going to be disruption, especially for the next few decades, but we don't really know what shape or form it's going to take. In the meantime, helping people to use AI is a good way for you to make money, personally. So that's when I go and give workshops, I charge a couple of $1,000s per hour to give a workshop. So for the next 5-10 years, that's going to be a good way to make money. Absolutely. Beyond that, we don't know. And we do not know what the full impact is going to be on jobs. There is starting to be evidence that it is eating junior roles. So instead of stealing jobs from people at the top, it's not going to be like, oh, Colin's a manager and he goes to work every day, and then one day he goes in and he's found that Colin has been replaced by AI. It's not going to be that. Instead, it's going to be, or it is so far, based on the evidence, the entry-level roles, we need less of them. Because instead of hiring 4 people into a junior position and having them as a team, you might hire one person, and that one person can use AI to be 4 times as productive and to do the work of 4 people. So we're going to see, if you imagine a corporation or a company as a pyramid, we're going to see that bottom, the lower edge, start to collapse, get smaller and smaller. That's already happening. We're seeing huge reductions in job creation, new jobs, and entry-level jobs in the US. And then what will happen from there is that effect will roll up. So you have less people at the bottom, which means there are less people who have the skills to move up to management and leadership. So the whole industry, the whole company will start to squeeze flat like that. At the same time, AI is going to get better and we'll be able to take roles further up the chain. This will happen on the company level because the leadership don't really necessarily care about the longevity of the company. They just need to stay competitive. They need to get to retirement. I'm talking about in the West. In China, it's a bit different. But in the West, the leadership need to get to retirement. They need to make sure their company doesn't dissolve underneath them. So they'll be perfectly fine to cut costs by bringing in artificial intelligence at the lower level, because in 10 years' time, hell, they're retired, they're on the beach, and they don't give a damn. But what's going to happen, because of this profit motive, is if every company starts to do this and squish in from the bottom, that's going to happen at an industry-wide level as well, because to compete in the industry, you need to do the same in order to cut costs. So we'll see industries that start to lose their bottom and they won't have people to proceed to the upper levels, and we may have a skill drain, basically. That is where it's going to get messy. But that's going to take a little bit longer than just AI swooping in and taking jobs. It's more of an insidious erosion effect, which is going to take potentially years, but it seems to be happening. The more evidence we get from US job creations and there's a recent Harvard study, which was 285,000 companies they studied. They're seeing I believe it's a 26% reduction in entry-level positions over the last year. So it's happening. What I would say is put in place different streams of income. So if you can start your own business, I'm biased, I always suggest people start their own business, but if you have something that you control, then you have the flexibility to be able to pivot depending on what happens, because we just assume that we don't know what's going to happen. Therefore, having control of our circumstances, having control of our future is really important, because it allows us to move. If we are working within a big organization, we are there then at the whims of what decisions they make. So if we're in a big company and they decide, oh, we're not really doing AI, that company will be dead in 10 years' time, because competitors who do use AI will crush them, basically, or new entrants will come up with something that would disrupt the industry. So being in a company that refuses to use artificial intelligence is very risky, whereas having your own thing and being able to leverage these technologies, I think it's probably the most exciting time we've had in decades to start your own business because of AI, because it just allows you to do so much so quickly, even as a solopreneur. But that's me, I'm biased. I'm sure other people will say different things.